15 surprising facts about South Carolina that even locals don't know. You think you know South Carolina? Sweet tea, beaches, and southern charm, right? Sure. But did you know this state once had its own currency, harbors America's most haunted city, and technically started the Civil War twice? Or that it's home to a town that's been underwater for decades, a peach that isn't actually Georgia's, and a tree older than the United States itself? Whether you're a proud Palmetto State native, considering a move to the Lowcountry, or just curious about what makes this slice of the South so fascinating, buckle up, because South Carolina isn't just Spanish moss and hospitality. It's a state that's been at the center of American drama since before there was an America, and it's got the wild stories to prove it. Let's dive into 15 facts that'll make you see the Palmetto State in a whole new light. 1. South Carolina fired the first shots of the Civil War, and basically started it twice. Everyone knows Fort Sumter. The 12th of April, 1861. Confederate forces bombarded the federal fort in Charleston Harbor, and boom, the Civil War officially began. But here's what most people miss. South Carolina had already been itching for a fight for decades. The state was the first to secede from the Union on the 20th of December, 1860, a full 4 months before Fort Sumter. They didn't just leave, they threw a secession ball to celebrate, literally. Champagne, dancing, the whole deal. But wait, it gets better. This wasn't even South Carolina's first secession rodeo. Back in 1832, during the nullification crisis, South Carolina threatened to leave the Union over tariffs. President Andrew Jackson basically told them to try it and see what happens, and the state backed down. But that rebellious streak, it never went away. So yeah, when people say South Carolina started the Civil War, they're not exaggerating. This state was born confrontational. 2. Charleston is America's most haunted city. Sorry, New Orleans. Forget Savannah, forget New Orleans. If you want ghosts, Charleston is where you go. The city's been around since 1670, survived wars, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, and yellow fever epidemics. And apparently a lot of people decided to stick around after death. The Old Exchange and Provost Dungeon? Revolutionary War prisoners died there in horrific conditions, and visitors still report hearing chains rattling and seeing shadowy figures. The Battery? Locals swear they've seen the ghosts of Civil War soldiers still standing guard. And don't even get me started on the Dock Street Theater, where the ghost of Net, a prostitute from the 1800s, allegedly makes regular appearances in a red dress. Charleston has more ghost tours per capita than any American city. The paranormal is practically a local industry. And honestly, with that much history crammed into cobblestone streets, it'd be weirder if it wasn't haunted. 3. South Carolina is growing too fast, and locals are fighting back. Here's the fact nobody puts in tourism brochures. South Carolina added 360,000 new residents between 2022-2024, making it the 9th fastest growing state in America. That's like dropping the entire city of Tampa into the Palmetto State in just 4 years. The problem? Most of them aren't from South Carolina. 71% of new arrivals came from out of state, primarily New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. Remote workers discovered they could live in Charleston for what a studio costs in Boston. Retirees found a Florida alternative without the hurricanes and chaos. And locals? They're furious. Charleston's median home price exploded from $280,000 in 2019 to $520,000 in 2024, an 85% increase in 5 years. Teachers, firefighters, and nurses who grew up here can no longer afford to buy homes in their own neighborhoods. The backlash is real. You'll see bumper stickers reading "Native" and "Don't New York my South Carolina" all over the state. Facebook groups are filled with locals venting about traffic. I-26 is now a parking lot. Yankees who don't understand Southern manners, and developers tearing down historic homes to build luxury condos. One Charleston native put it bluntly: "We're being priced out of our own city by people who moved here to escape the rat race and then brought the damn rat race with them." South Carolina is experiencing what Florida went through 20 years ago. Too popular, too fast, with infrastructure that can't keep up. The state that once marketed itself as the affordable, slow-paced alternative is rapidly becoming just as expensive and congested as the places people fled. Love it or hate it, South Carolina is changing faster than any time since the Civil War, and the tension between natives and transplants is only getting worse. 4. There's a town submerged under Lake Murray, and you can still see it during droughts. Okay, this one's genuinely eerie. Lake Murray, one of South Carolina's biggest recreational lakes, is hiding an entire town beneath its surface. In the 1,920 seconds, South Carolina Power Company decided to flood the Saluda River Valley to create a hydroelectric reservoir. The problem? The town of Ferguson was right in the way. Residents were relocated, buildings were demolished. Except they didn't quite finish the job. When the lake filled in 1930, several structures were left standing underwater. Fast forward to severe droughts, and suddenly the ruins reappear like ghosts. During the 2007 to 2008 drought, parts of the old Ferguson schoolhouse, church foundations, and cemetery markers emerged from the lake. Boaters and fishermen reported an almost apocalyptic scene. Chimneys jutting out of mudflats, old roads visible beneath the waterline. Lake Murray is gorgeous. It's also a graveyard, and every time there's a bad drought, the town comes back to haunt us. 5. South Carolina grows more peaches than Georgia, but Georgia got the nickname. Let's settle this once and for all. South Carolina is called the Peach State on absolutely nothing, because Georgia stole that title despite producing fewer peaches. Wait, what? South Carolina ranks second in peach production nationally. Georgia is actually third. California dominates both, but that's beside the point. The Palmetto State grows superior peaches, sweeter, juicier, and genuinely world-class. The soil in places like the Ridge Edgefield, Saluda, and Lexington counties is perfect for peach cultivation. Titan Farms in Ridge Spring is one of the largest peach packing operations in the country. So, why does Georgia get all the glory? Marketing. Georgia just branded itself better. Meanwhile, South Carolina sits here quietly, growing better fruit and not getting credit. If you've never had a South Carolina peach in peak season, June, July, you haven't lived. Forget grocery store peaches. Get yourself to a roadside stand and experience what a peach is supposed to taste like. And yes, we're still bitter about Georgia's nickname. 6. The angel oak tree is older than the United States by a lot. On Johns Island, just outside Charleston, there's a tree that's been alive since before European colonization. The angel oak is estimated to be 400 to 500 years old. Let that sink in. This tree was already ancient when the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock. It was standing when Shakespeare was writing plays. It predates the United States by centuries. The stats are mind-blowing. 65 feet tall. Circumference, 28 feet. Longest limb, 187 feet. Shade covers 17,200 square feet. And it survived everything. Hurricanes. Earthquakes, yes, South Carolina gets those. 1,886 destroyed Charleston. Wars. Development, it's still there. Local legend says the tree is named after the Angel family who owned the land. Others say it's because the shadows it casts look like angels. Either way, standing under the angel oak feels like stepping into a cathedral made of wood. If you're in Charleston and you skip this, you made a mistake. Number 7. Myrtle Beach wasn't always a tourist trap. It was a logging town. Hard to believe now, but Myrtle Beach was basically a backwoods logging outpost until the 1900s. The Grand Strand wasn't grand. It was dense maritime forest harvested for timber. The town's name? Myrtle bushes. That's it. Someone noticed a lot of wax myrtles growing and said, "Let's call it Myrtle Beach. Peak creativity." The transformation happened when the Seaside Resort Company bought land in 1912 and started building hotels. The real boom came post-effect World War II when highways made the coast accessible. Now, Myrtle Beach is one of the most visited beaches on the East Coast, pulling in 14+ million tourists annually. Love it or hate it, Myrtle Beach went from logging camp to neon-lit resort town in less than a century. It's the ultimate American reinvention story. With mini golf and all, you can eat seafood buffets. 8. South Carolina's state dance is the shag. And it's not what you're thinking. Get your mind out of the gutter. The shag is a swing dance that originated in South Carolina beach towns during the 1940 seconds. Born in places like Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, the shag is danced to beach music, a genre blending R&B, doo, wop, and soul. Think the Drifters, the Tams, Maurice Williams. The dance itself is smooth, laid back, and deceptively difficult to master. It became such a cultural touchstone that South Carolina designated it the official state dance in 1984. There are shag clubs across the Carolinas, annual competitions, and the Society of Stranders, SOS, still holds massive beach music festivals in North Myrtle Beach every spring and fall. If you've never shagged on a Carolina beach to My Girl While the Sun Sets, you're missing peak Southern culture. 9. There's a nuclear bomb lost somewhere off the South Carolina coast. You read that right. In 1958, A U.S. Air Force B-47 bomber accidentally dropped a 7,600-pound Mark 15 hydrogen bomb into the waters off Tybee Island, Georgia, right near the South Carolina border. The plane collided with an F-86 fighter jet during a training mission, and to avoid a crash, the crew jettisoned the nuke into the Atlantic Ocean. The military searched for weeks. They never found it. The official story is, the bomb didn't contain its plutonium core, so it's not armed. But, and this is a big but, some reports suggest it was fully functional. So somewhere off the coast, beneath the waves where people surf and fish, there's a Cold War-era hydrogen bomb sitting on the ocean floor. Sleep tight, low country. 10. South Carolina has a lizard man, and people still report sightings. In 1988, a teenager named Christopher Davis reported being chased by a 7-foot-tall lizard creature near Scape Ore Swamp in Lee County. Sounds like a bad horror movie, right? Except dozens of people came forward with similar stories. Scratch marks on cars, footprints, sightings of a reptilian humanoid with red eyes. The Lizard Man of Lee County became a national sensation. CNN covered it. The town leaned into the legend, hosting Lizard Man festivals and selling merch. Skeptics say it's mass hysteria or a hoax, but locals will still tell you not to go near Scape Ore Swamp after dark. Is it real? Probably not. Is it great for tourism? Absolutely. 11. South Carolina invented sweet tea and takes it seriously. Southerners didn't invent iced tea. But South Carolina perfected sweet tea and turned it into a religion. The first known recipe for sweet iced tea appeared in an 1879 cookbook called Housekeeping in Old Virginia, written by Marion Cabell Tyree of South Carolina. The formula is sacred. Brewed tea, sugar added while hot, critical, served ice, cold. No shortcuts, no artificial sweeteners, and definitely no unsweetened tea unless you want to be judged. Sweet tea is served at every meal, every gathering, and every porch sit. It's the house wine of the South, and if you order unsweet tea in South Carolina, you'll get it, but the server will absolutely judge you. 12. The final battle of the Revolutionary War happened here. Most people think the Revolutionary War ended at Yorktown in 1781. Wrong. The final land battle of the Revolutionary War was the Battle of Eutaw Springs, South Carolina, the 8th of September, 1781, weeks after Yorktown. British forces were entrenched in the Carolina interior, and American and French forces had to root them out in brutal, bloody fighting. It was one of the war's most vicious battles, with both sides suffering massive casualties. The Americans technically won, but the British held the field afterward, making it a Pyrrhic victory. South Carolina saw more Revolutionary War battles than any other colony. Over 200 engagements happened here. This state didn't just participate in the Revolution, it was a primary battlefield. 13. There's an entire town dedicated to miniature golf. North Myrtle Beach bills itself as the miniature golf capital of the world. And honestly, they're not wrong. There are over 50 mini-golf courses along the Grand Strand. That's more mini-golf per square mile than anywhere else on Earth. You've got Hawaiian Rumble 18, Time National Championship host, Mount Atlanticus, a mountain of mini-golf insanity, and Molten Mountain, literally an erupting volcano. Why? Because in the 1,960 seconds, 70 seconds, developers realized mini-golf was cheap to build and wildly profitable. Families needed entertainment, and Putt delivered. Now it's a cultural institution. If you visit Myrtle Beach and don't play at least one round of mini-golf, did you even go? Dai la 5 video hane train YouTube vechude North Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach la miniature golf capital of the world vehon 50 courses, Litsu to 1,960 seconds, 70 seconds, as Talavin 12-1. Vakak dia dan noibat nu Hawaiian Rumble ve volcano, Mount Atlanticus Mountain of Insanity. Molten Mountain erupting volcano. 14. Columbia is one of the first planned cities in America. South Carolina's capital, Columbia, was designed from scratch in 1786. The state legislature literally drew a grid, picked a central location, and said, "We're building a city here." It was created specifically to be a compromise capital, neither in the Low Country, Charleston, nor the Upcountry. Greenville area, but right in the middle. The streets were laid out 150 feet wide, allegedly so a horse-drawn wagon could make a full USB, turn without backing up. Columbia became one of America's first planned cities, predating Washington, D.C. by several years. Of course, General Sherman burned most of it down in 1865 during his march to the sea, but Columbia rebuilt and remains the state's governmental and educational hub. 15. South Carolina is the only state with an official state snack: boiled peanuts. Every state has a state bird, state flower, state tree. South Carolina said, "That's cute," and designated an official state snack: boiled peanuts. If you've never had them, imagine this: raw peanuts boiled in salty brine until soft and mushy. They're served hot, usually from roadside stands in styrofoam cups. Northerners hate them. Southerners are deeply offended when Northerners hate them. But boiled peanuts are a cultural marker. You know you're in the Deep South when you see hand-painted signs on the highway saying, "Hot boiled pea, nuts." They're messy. They're weird if you're not used to them. But they're South Carolina in a nutshell. Unpretentious, salty, and unapologetically itself. The Palmetto State in a nutshell. So there you have it, 15 facts that prove South Carolina is way more interesting than just beaches and barbecue. It's a state with sunken towns, haunted cities, lost nuclear bombs, lizard men, and the best peaches in America that nobody gives credit for. It's where the Civil War started, the Revolutionary War raged, and sweet tea became a way of life. It's complicated, contradictory, and kind of ridiculous in the best way possible. What's your favorite South Carolina fact we missed? Drop it in the comments, and if you learned something new, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next deep dive. Because history, culture, and weird trivia, that's what we do. Next up, why does Argentina have no major cities in the south? The answer might surprise you.